Well, good morning and welcome back to Justice and Judgment with Chris. Hey, I just got through feeding all the animals, the dogs, the cat, the chickens, and the goats, and I wanted to touch base with you. I'm really excited about next week's guest. If you remember my last broadcast, I talked about Michael Snyder. Michael is a Christian author. He has been on just about every major radio and TV Christian program there is out there. He's written about 4 or 5, 6 books. I really haven't kept count, but there's several of them, and we'll get that accurate count and how many he sold of those books. But I've got about 3 or 4 of them, and his latest book, End Times, is riveting. It will blow your mind. It will make you stop and wonder what in the world is going on. There's things that he shares that the national media just isn't covering, and it makes you sit up and take notice. And I'm ecstatic and excited that he's agreed to be on this show. So I want you to watch for that. I'll be recording that next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, and I hope to have it out by Friday or Saturday. But wanted to share with you, there's one thing about ministries, and I've never liked it, and because I've never had my own 501c3, I've never really had to do this before, except when I was holding revivals. But, it takes money. It is what it is. So I just, I'm not going to beg and plead, but I do want to let you know there is that opportunity to give. And if you're able to give a one-time gift, a monthly gift, we'll even take donations for equipment and things like that for recording. Running automobiles, of course, the things that we can maybe sell. It's a 501c3, so you will get a tax donation. You will get a receipt. But this is the ministry God has given me. We also will be going into the prisons. I'm working on that right now. We will be feeding the hungry. That is a main goal of mine. Matthew 25 talks about, when did we see you hungry? When did we see you thirsty? When did we see you naked? When did we see you in the hospital? And Jesus clearly said, when you've done it to the least of these, you've done it unto me. And so that's what our main focus, other than this podcast, is going to be. But the trajectory that God has me on is this podcast. I am figuring this out as I go. And as I get better equipment, well, the product will get a little bit better. So bear with us, folks. But we need your help. Can't do it on my own. We will do the best we can. We trust God. But I'm just going to tell you there's a need out there. So if you can help, bless God, help us out. It's the day after elections. I don't even know what to say right now. It's kind of, a lot of it seems to be up in the air, but I'm not going to get into politics this morning. But I just wanted to let you know where we're at. Still things going out on the global economy. Things are not getting any better. And, and there's a chapter in Michael's book I want to talk about. It talks about famine. There was a statistic in there that he shared that I was not aware of, but every 11 seconds, and it's probably quicker now because this was, I think, a 2021 statistic, but every 11 seconds a child dies of hunger. There is a famine coming in our land, and before it hits us really hard, it's coming to a lot of other countries like India and Africa and Europe, because with the war in Ukraine, Russia just told the UN, we're not going to let our ships or let your ships come through with wheat and grain anymore. We're done. It's not going to happen. So a lot of stuff isn't getting out. Fertilizer comes out of that region, out of Ukraine and Russia. And unfortunately, we got to have fertilizer to grow crops. We've had record droughts in Europe. China has had record droughts. Over here in Texas, I think we've had the worst drought, they're saying now, in 1,200 years. And I can tell you for a fact because generally we got green grass growing up, and my goats are out there nibbling on that stuff, and they don't have anything. It's dry out here. The Colorado River is sinking. If they don't get some water in there, they're going to have, issues with electricity, with getting water to homes. So there's things going on that they're not talking about. They're talking more about politics and what's going on. That stuff that is important, but not nearly as important as eating. So we are looking at a global famine, and that is one of the things that it talks about in Matthew 24 and end times things is a famine and these pestilences. The bird flu has killed off a lot of chickens, a lot of turkeys. So you see the price of your eggs going up. I've got chickens, and I watch them every day to make sure that they're healthy. We haven't paid for eggs in I bet 2 or 3 years, and love homegrown eggs. But the bird flu, there's been millions of birds, chickens, turkeys that have had to be slaughtered. You get one or two in a flock, especially in large places. I think about Tyson, that sells a lot of chicken, and they've got chicken farms, and they bring their chickens in. So if they've got, let's say, 100,000, 50,000 chickens, and a couple of them come up with the bird flu, they got to kill them all. So think about what that does. Beef, from what I was reading out of Michael's book, Texas beef is down 50%. Folks, hamburgers going to get high. They have come out with this beetle burger stuff. They mix it with sugar. It's supposed to taste just like hamburger. And they're literally talking about feeding us bugs and putting bugs in our dog food. This is real stuff, guys. Go on the internet, research it yourself. So just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that. If you're not putting food back, at the very least, I would say you need at least a 72-hour supply. What if we have bad weather? Texas, the last couple of winters, we've had some pretty bad stuff, and people just couldn't get out. But it's late in the season. You should have been putting back a long time ago. My great-grandmother shared with me when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and she grew up in the Depression when she was a teenager. And she told me stories, and that has never left me. That made me sit up and take notice. And several years ago, my wife and I decided that we were going to start putting back food and storing things up. And there is Patriot Supply is one. They got these buckets of food that have a shelf life of 25 years. Man, if you can dig up $50, $60, $70, go online and find you one of these places that sells food and put it back, because the time is going to come when the grocery stores are going to be low, and they're already getting low. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I was looking for a few things, and I didn't get much, and I walked out of there spending $70, and I looked at the price of stuff. My wife wanted me to get some lunch meat, and the lunch meat isn't even for us. We have to give our dogs medicine. A couple of them are a little bit older. Our little female, Honey, has got to have some thyroid medicine. So to get her to take her pill, we wrap it in, this thin lunch meat. And so with 3 Chihuahuas and a horse, Blue's a horse. He's a 90-pound puppy. He's only a year old. And the cat, they got to have a treat too. So we share that lunch meat with them and get them to take their medicine. But I was surprised at the cost. It seems like it almost doubled. And I bought a brand that we normally don't buy because it was half the price of the other brand we normally buy. So we're all feeling the pinch. I know if you've been to the store, you've seen, and there is reports that people are taking out personal loans just to feed themselves. Folks, that's serious. That is deadly serious. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you're able, when you go to the store and you're getting a couple of cans of vegetables or soup or whatever it is, buy you a couple of extra. I know it hurts, but buy you a couple extra. put it back. Get you some beans and rice. That is about the cheapest stuff you can get. It'll last forever. And at least, beans has a lot of protein. Tuna has a lot of protein. So get you some of that stuff and put it back. All right. So I am done for now, but mark it on your calendar. Next week, Michael Snyder on Justice and Judgment with Chris. Have a great day.
Divine justice coming down.